So, welcome to this edition of Catchy Stories, where I will talk to Ritesh Bhushan. You work at Deloitte?
I do.
Yes. Happy with that?
Pretty happy. It's been a fun ride, yeah.
Right. And because we're talking about digital transformation, and you're saying the finance department or finance should play a vital role in that transformation. Why?
I mean, there are multiple reasons for it, right? And I think the most important being that finance is being transformed like never before, right? So the advent of digital technologies and let's say the new changes, in what is expected of finance, they are completely, transforming the way finance operates.
But okay, but why should they take a lead in digital transformation?
So, the most important right factor in finance taking the lead is because finance, by nature of the process, is centralized, right? You have a much better opportunity to bring it, much more harmonized from an operations perspective. But at the same time, you also see that finance needs to, take on digital core or digital, mandate from the organization, because that's where the value creation begins.
Right.
It also lays the foundation for the processes, to later on, right, come in, right, and de-risk the whole journey.
Right.
Because your financial insights and numbers and information, they're already there and being proven.
But you were telling us about value creation. From that perspective, I would say, well, start with marketing or with supply chain or whatever. Why with finance then?
So I think the value creation of finance is in two, I would say tangible, components, if you put so. One is finance is constantly being asked, right, to bring in new insights. Why? Because if you are starting a new, let's say, merger and acquisition, right, or you're basically taking on a new business model, right, you need to have new insights, right, and analytics, which, your traditional information that you get from your financial current systems might not be sufficient, right? So the finance is asked to take this, the role, right, as the digital engine for the organization, right, and bring new insights. That's one. And second, I think finance basically is the most prone because there's always a constant need for finance to become value, or adding value to the overall organization, right? And that I think is on the top of the CFO's agenda because they need to make sure that they bring finance processes much more optimized and centralized.
So, if we decide to do that as a company, what should organizations take into account when they decide?
So, when finance transformation programs, right? If you see from our experience, they need to have a number of things that they need to take into account, right? One is that they need to really address and understand their data, right? So I think the data harmonization should be number one. I would say priorities, right, for organizations going down that direction. Second is I think finance needs to also, for example, lay out a proper vision of what the processes would be, right? So without a vision, it's very difficult to go and achieve that as a tangible target. So setting up a vision, taking into account your data, right, what your data should be. And I think having an understanding of what new insights and reporting information you're going to bring for the organization, that is very important.
Yeah, you make it sound so easy. Is that
Well,
the case?
no, I think it's the execution is where the challenge is,
Yeah.
right? So it's very important to ensure that you have a proper execution next to the strategy, right? Because without an execution, a strategy is as good as in a PowerPoint deck, right? So it's very important to lay your execution, right? Have a proper team in place, right?
Yeah.
Bring in your A people, right?
Yeah.
And not just folks who do not have anything else to do, right? So always look at what kind of team you need to set up to succeed this. Yeah.
Good lesson. Thank you, Ritesh.
Thank you.